computer.
Right? I like that. All right. So, Lay, we're going to go over your kitchen written assignment. We're going to start with the reflective statement, and then we'll talk about the essay, and then I'll show you what I think you would get if you send it off today.
Okay.
Okay? So, the reflective statement, right about here. Okay. Instead of I believe, just say through our interactive oral,
Yeah.
I have begun to understand parts of the novel. Okay.
This is like what you said for the stranger one, to like not use like yourself, say like the reader, like
Yeah. Well, for the reflective statement, you can say I and you can say we. It's really the focus is on what you learned in the interactive oral and the details of the culture and stuff, rather than trying to focus on the actual novel and analyzing the novel, or making it sound like you're the one who, figured it out, if that makes sense. They really want to see what you learned. So for each of these body paragraphs, you could say something like, another topic discussed in the oral was that food's a big part of it.
okay.
But you could leave out this last sentence, when Mikage begins to make food for Yuichi and Eriko. You wouldn't have to include that if you're close to the word count, because we don't want to go over 400. Okay. This is good with the insight into the gender. From the school to the culture and how it's different. I think that's good. But again, you could leave off that's why it's so strange. You don't necessarily need that. Tea ceremony's good, but again, you want to make sure that you say what we talked about. In the interactive world, they discussed the tea ceremony and how it can be short and informal, or longer and more formal, that kind of thing. Okay? So that's how you get those full 3 points. Now, for your paper, there's really kind of two things that I see that are holding it back. One is we want more analysis of the light and dark, rather than a description of the scene. We want to talk about how Yoshimoto's using it to show what you're saying is happening in the scene.
Yeah.
Does that
makes sense.
Okay, and then the other thing is, a lot of times you'll kind of say the same thing and then say it again, so it's a little redundant. So like here, you just said, I will discuss how Yoshimoto uses various types of light imagery and celestial bodies to portray despair and the hope that comes from despair. And then you say the types of light. We don't need you to, no, that's fine. Okay. And then you say Yoshimoto's use of light is used periodically throughout the book. Yoshimoto uses light, right? I mean, so for right here, the stuff in yellow, just cut that out, okay? Now, so this paragraph is pretty good, but I would like you to pull out some of the adjectives maybe that really emphasize that it's a light, right? He seemed to glow with a white light, right? I saw dazzled, flashed, dazzled, the light from his eyes. Pull those very short little pieces out and say the use of these very bright, positive kinds of words helps emphasize how important Yuichi is. Because he is literally the light that's cutting into the darkness that surrounds Mikage, right? So rather than just quoting it or saying he's almost like her salvation, you could say he is, because of, we know that, I know, my nose is itching too. We know that he is because of the way that she's describing him, okay? Or the way she's describing the light that comes off of him. And that keeps us focused on your topic, okay? So here, this last sentence, Yuichi also suffered through despair. I think you might have been wanting to try to link these two paragraphs, but it's awkward because we have the Yuichi at the end of the Mikage paragraph, and then we have more Mikage, and it's positive, and then we're back to
Sad.
Yuichi, right? So I'm suggesting that maybe you cut this sentence, move it to here, make that a new paragraph, and then basically pull that couple of sentences up to this paragraph.
Okay.
Okay. When you start talking about the stars, I think you've got some really good quotes. With their glittering, they're kind of keeping her company. And then you have the sleeping under the stars. And you're saying that she'd rather be lonely under the stars than face her own despair in the sunlight. I think that's a really good observation. And then finally we get the meeting, and it was like a glimpse of stars through a chink in a cloudy sky. It's really like offering hope, right? I mean, it's a very hopeful kind of image. I think if you, again, pull those little snippets out of these good scenes, these good quotes, and talk about how Yoshimoto is using that imagery. She's using these stars to show hope. That would help. I think, sorry, I've got a handkerchief. I'm not sure about bringing in Christianity as a, I don't know if we need that.
My dad mentioned that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that might be cool to put in. Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely true, but it kind of sidetracks us, because then we get into more of a comparative religions, or it muddies the water for us at this point. So I would say try and we need it, the words that we have, we want to stay focused on showing what Yoshimoto's doing. Okay. I have this highlighted because this is one quote.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you can see that that's too long.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I mean, it should start right there. But I mean, from there to there, that's too much of a quote. If we're going to talk about darkness, maybe this sentence, if darkness is what you're looking for, but try to keep your quote as, you want to keep them as short as possible. We don't want to rewrite the book, literally. This one's a little long too, but I understand. I'm not sure if we need to go that far into the kitchen. I think with the light, the dark, the celestial bodies.
I think that I got like this part. It's gone from like dark to light.
Gotcha.
I guess that's why.
Okay.
That quote
Okay.
helped. This.
I would ask that you find maybe another one because there are a couple, and that way we don't have to go
Into kitchen.
as far into the kitchen, right? Again, just trying to stay focused on, because we don't have a lot of room to talk. I mean, 1,500 words is not long, especially when we're trying to highlight what you know rather than just giving a summary. So, okay, all right. So,
Gotcha.
again, this you wouldn't send this off right now, and when you do, you're gonna have worked on it for another year. So, please don't think that this is like anything other than just me trying to show what needs to be worked on. Does that make sense? Okay. So, like I said, a little bit more detail, and be sure to focus on the interactive oral we learned. Interactive oral we see or whatever. Okay? Because this is out of 3, so you want that to be a 3. Knowledge and understanding is pretty good. The appreciation of author's choices is going to come up when you start talking about how Yoshimoto is using the light and the celestial bodies to show these, or how she's using the light and celestial bodies to show how nice Yuichi is or how sad Mikage is. Okay? And then organization and development is going to come with it's going to start with that thesis statement. And
like how the quotes were
exactly.
messed up.
Mm-hmm. And the development is really the issue here. We really want to develop the examination of the quotes, the idea that light and dark are being used to show characterization and character development, that kind of thing. Okay? Cool. Do you have any questions?
Cool. No, you kind of covered everything.
Okay. I'm going to stop this.